G-Ditch, and welcome back to another episode of Craic on the Coast, where Irish stories, culture, and community come to life right here on the South Shore of Massachusetts. I'm your host, Michael Schilling.
And I'm Shaun Morgan. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day you're listening. We have a brilliant episode lined up for you today. Music, memory, and a wee bit of magic.
That's right, Shaun. Today, we're joined by someone who's been at the center of Irish music in New England for several years. Frontman of the beloved band Devri, Declan Houton. Thank you for coming to the show today, Declan.
Thanks very much, guys. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Shaun. And thank you for having me on.
No problem. Now, for anyone who knows Declan, he is anything but just a talented musician. I would argue that giving back is just as much as what he is known for. We're talking about someone who's had maybe just a few recognitions in his life.
I think you're putting things far too lightly there, Michael. You're talking about someone who's the inaugural winner of the Hope Award and Grandallas, presented the Irish Cultural Centre in Canton and recognised as Irish Person of the Year by the Irish Echo at the Golden Bridges event, part of Homes of Donegal committee, awarded during the 2018 Tip O'Neill Awards in Donegal. And I know we've missed plenty of other things in there as well.
Oh, yeah, and that doesn't even touch upon, the support of Tommy's Place, their annual Hawaiian-themed cruise that supports that, which I do have my tickets for that event coming up. But then I would say a big one, and this isn't just to get you right in the face, this is just to give recognition where it's due, but the big one would be, would be the support of a local South Shore family, the Waters family, and everything that they've had to endure and how you guys been for them, the whole way.
Yeah, again, thanks. Sometimes when people read that sort of stuff off, it's almost like they're talking about somebody else, because I take this to my grave. I say that it's this community, it's everybody together. I know somebody has to, I think lead's not the right word, but somebody has to organise these things and stuff like that. But no matter what we were doing, there's so much. This community is just so great coming together. Like one, not saying you missed something, but I remember during the lockdown, Boston Magazine named me a COVID hero for raising money on Sunday nights, singing in the basement, and there was 3 or 4 other guys, and they were all doctors, and they were like people that delivered sandwiches. And I said all I did was drink whiskey and sing. Like it wasn't much, doesn't take much to be a hero. But thanks, guys. And I said I believe it's a community all the time.
And we even started having this discussion before we got on the air, just how it is a tight knit community. Everything kind of rolls around with regards to connections and people getting involved in other things and not knowing.
Yeah.
All the other people that were part of that and everything else. Why don't we get into a little bit of history, though, about you?
Yeah, let's jump back a wee bit. As one Ulsterman to another. So,
yes,
obviously from Donegal, how did you get, let's say Donegal to Devri? Like, what? Tell us about your background back home and what brought you over here.
Well, I was born in the most northerly parish in Ireland, and as you know, we try to explain that to people where technically I live in the south of Ireland, but I live north of Northern Ireland, even though I live in the south. It could only happen. In Ireland. But I'm the youngest of 11. I always my mother, God rest her, and my father's dead as well. But my mother had 10 kids in 15 years, and then I came along 5 years later. So. My father used to always joke that he had 5 sons, 5 daughters, and Declan. So that was, but we, a lot of us, I shouldn't say we all played music, but my mother loved dancing. My father played accordion and sang, and we would all growing up singing or doing something. Either played football, Gaelic football, or you played music. And I was lucky that I had a brother Leonard who lived in London, and he came home. I think I was about 14 or 15, and he had a mandolin with him. He brought it home from London, and I fell in love with the mandolin. So I would play mandolin. I always wanted to be in somebody else's band where I didn't have to sing. I would rather just stand and play mandolin. But the way Devri's turned out, it seems to be my job. But then I played. My brother-in-law had a country band in Monaghan, and they were invited when I was 21. They were invited to New York to play music, and they needed somebody that played Irish music. So I went with them, and as soon as I got here, I loved America. I wanted to come back. And my plan in 2000 was to come to Boston, spend a couple of months and go back to New York. But when I came to Boston, first pub I went into was Paddy Barry's, and I basically never left Boston or Paddy Barry's for the first couple of years.
That's great. And, it's funny, we've had Steve Lindsay, we've had other musicians on, and they all kind of have that same story. They had plans of going back to New York after they would come up to Boston, and
they're just stuck here.
So
So following on that trend, what differentiates New York scene from Boston scene? I mean, why is it that Boston seems to suck people in, especially in the music background?
Yeah, I think it's just like it's such a smaller city compared to New York. Now, I played with a caravan in Long Island for a while, but like they would be going to the Bronx, and it was like 5 hours each way and stuff like that there. And we're here, like everything is more close together. And another thing I like about Boston is like if we're like myself and Shaun, if we're in any other part of America, it's like, oh my God, you're Irish. Nobody cares in Boston. Because there's so many of us, you know what I mean? So because your accent doesn't stand.
Throw a stone, you're going to hit someone.
Yeah. Like my daughters will bring a friend home from school, and they might say, your dad's got a funny accent, and my daughter's like, everybody we know has the same accent as he has. But and then it's the musician thing is such a tight knit community. I think we all, for the most part, everybody tries to support each other and help out. And I can never understand people that are like trying to monopolize the whole thing. I think the more people playing music, the better. Like, which is great now with Owen McGonigal that has the Cottage and the Dubliner and a McGonigal's and all these pubs. Like, it could have been easy just to have a DJ and stuff like that there. Sure. But and I think I always say if we can't do the gig, I'll reach out to Finbar Doyle, Colm O'Brien, Slancha, all these guys, and try to get them. Because again, the more people playing music, the better for everybody.
Yeah.
It just highlights as well the growth that's been in Irish music, probably in the last 20 years especially, where it's always been there in the South Shore, it's always been there in Boston, but it just seems to be more front and centre in everything now. And it's the passion aspect, especially it's coming with younger generations coming up, who've grown up with it. So you might have a 16-year-old, a 13-year-old, and they hear it constantly playing in the house.
And I think the standard is just unreal now. Like when I'm 54 now. Like when I was playing music at school, like we were never taught. There was teachers there, but I just learned by ear. But like very few of my friends actually played music. Like whereas now when you're home, like these kids are playing music, and the standard is just crazy. And they don't even know that how good they are. It's just not like even the sessions around Boston and the Cottage. These young American kids come in, and like it's just unreal the talent that they have.
When we were over in May, I was in Dublin, and there was a place, I think it was called Piper's Corner in Dublin, and I don't think there was anyone over the age of like 25. It was amazing the quality of the music that was coming out of there.
And it's a big like university college nightlife thing is to go out and find a session on a Wednesday night. In Dublin, especially in Limerick and Galway as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
I mean it's unbelievable just to go out there. Any pub is packed, and it's young people. It's anyone 25 younger.
Yeah,
they just have the place packed out.
Yeah.
And I think we have such a unique culture, the Irish, like because like a lot of our culture was trying to be taken away from us, and I know the language was lost for the most part, but I think it just strengthened your want to have the music, the stories, the songs, and that's how everything was passed down. And I was on a cruise ship a couple of weeks ago in the Mediterranean, and there was a friend of mine, Dennis Maughan. He's a firefighter in Norwood, very, very proud Irish American, and we were just having a few beers in Dennis's. Imagine if they had never shot the leaders of the 1916 Rising. We would probably not be on this cruise ship because the identity wouldn't have flourished as much and everything. Mm. Like when you think of it like that, there was just like small things that made us want to keep our identity and make our identity thrive and pass it on to the next generation, let they be Irish born. Or I have a ton of family in England, and those kids are playing music and doing the same thing. Might have English accents or American accents like my girls, but I think it's it's growing and getting stronger all the time, I think.
So dive back a wee bit, all right? So we got you came over, you were in New York, you got sucked up to Boston. But what brought you over to the States?
I think my dad died when I was, I'm the youngest of 11. My father died when I was 17, and my mother died when I was 27. And a lot of my brothers and sisters were married and had their own things, and I was living in the house at home, and it was like, I was just working locally, playing a couple of gigs, and you sort of like, it was like, if I don't go now, I'll never go. And I loved, don't get me wrong, I loved the place, like, getting back to the charity thing, people might say, like, why do you do what you do? There's a couple of reasons for that, but one reason is we grew up in a beautiful, very isolated part of Ireland, but you grew up with the best families, neighbours, people who looked after each other, who, if you were in somebody else's house, you get fed or you get slapped by their mother if you did something, if you did something wrong. And you better not go home and tell your mother, because she would slap you again. And it was just that sense of looking out for each other and looking after each other a bit. But I decided to come to Boston, maybe then go to New York. I had been in New York before, but again, as soon as I went into Paddy Barry's, and as a musician, it was great because we came from such an isolated area, you only really played music with the same few people. But then you'd walk into Paddy Barry's and there'd be a flute player, Jerry Murphy from Tipperary, an accordion player, Johnny Towie from Mayo, and playing with those people, it's like playing Gaelic football or playing any sport. The better people that you play with, the better you get yourself. So
yeah, I had a good conversation with Sarah Stanton from Cara, and we talked about Paddy's. It was, it was that weekend was the final weekend.
Yes.
And I just said, my earliest exposure when I could legally walk into the place was listening to the eclectic, group of music that he would have in there. And it was a great time. I mean, it's
he was so supportive. Like I was just over at his house last night. He wasn't there, but I was dropping off posters for the booze cruise because the Dropkick Murphys are playing and Quincy tomorrow, and Jerry is working in conjunction with one of the breweries.
Yeah, Widowmaker.
Yeah, Braintree. Yeah. So Jerry's handing out flyers for our booze cruise and stuff like that there. But just a great guy. He was one of the guys, like, when you got here, like, and he saw that you could play music and that there, he would be very, very supportive. Like, and as he said, I got here April 11th. 2000, actually 2 days before Tom Brady. That's myself and Tom Brady. and I think that was like a Tuesday, and I think Friday I was in Paddy Barry's and somebody asked me up to sing, and Jerry was just like, ever since then, like, and then as a band got bigger, it's very hard to bring a 6-piece band into Paddy Barry's. But I would always be like, no matter where we were playing, if we were booked at a wedding in New Hampshire, the first thing you'd be doing is trying to count backwards to see, can I make Paddy Barry's before it closes on the way home.
So what was, I would say, we're making our way kind of along the timeline. Obviously, like, Devri comes together. What's the first thing that puts you in, like, the give back part of your story?
Well, I was asked to play. Sorry, let me backtrack. Myself and my wife Candice, our eldest daughter, we have two daughters, Abigail and Annabelle, and Abby was born, she's coming 17, so about 16 years ago, I got a call from Finbar Sheehan, a guy from Cork. He owned a pub up in Lowell called the Old Court. He still owns it up there, but he said, there's a charity golf tournament on, would you come up and play? So I just went up, played it. Abby was probably 6-7 months old, and it was for a charity called Lucy's Love Bus. Make a story short, a young girl called Lucy Grogan that died of cancer maybe 4 or 5 years ago before I came here, and her mother had set up this charity in her honor. And basically it was, if you have a kid, kids with cancer, a lot of the times it's the drugs that kill them, not the cancer. Yeah. Like as I said, what's the strongest, the body or the lash? Which is going to go first? But when Lucy was in hospital, people would come in and give her massages and Reiki, and this took a lot of the pain away. And Lucy could not believe that this was not available to every kid. So after she died, that's what the mother set up the charity for. So get back to going to Lowell to play music. The golf tournament was for Lucy's Love Bus, who I'd never heard of anything in my life. Never heard of Lucy's Love Bus. And this lady Beecher Grogan, who I've got very close with afterwards, she was making the speech and she was telling about kids with cancer. And I remember sitting there going like, I have a 6-month-old daughter. Like, how awful would this must be for this to happen? No. So I pledged that I would raise $1,000 a year, just to pledge it to myself. And then it grew to $10,000 a year. And I think since the last 14 years, I think it's over about $500,000. And please, that's not me. It's just like everybody coming together. But sure. But I think I think the fact that when you become a father yourself and you see these, sometimes I go into the kids' hospital to play music, and sometimes I think subconsciously, maybe you think that if you do this enough, it might not happen to your own or something like that. There, I don't. But I think that's, and then I know you're going to talk about the mighty Quinn, but then it snowballed to other stuff with that as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I think you opened the door there to our next part of our conversation we want to get to.
When you're the youngest of 11, you have to talk a lot because I would used to be told to shut up.
So obviously, the Waters family in Weymouth is on everyone's mind.
Yes.
Starting with Quinn and now with Jarlath. So walk us through what happened there and how the community has responded.
Yeah, well, we were at I think Quinn was celebrating his 3rd birthday, and we were all down at the Cape Cod Irish Village, another place that's been excellent to us over the years, Tommy and Brian Yanovich and all them. But it was actually Quinn's older sister, Maggie, that noticed something was wrong. She told Tara that Quinn was watching TV and he was covering one eye to it. So Tara... But we were down there for the weekend, so Tara took him to the hospital, and they told her what was wrong. But immediately, and again, sorry about backtracking all the time. Before Quinn was born, when I came here, Jarlath and Tara both worked in Paddy Barry's. They weren't going out together; they were just two bar people, and we would all hang out together. And then the two of them started dating, and that was about around the same time as I was talking about Abby and me getting into Lucy's Love Bus. And I would organise these small functions, and Jarlath and Tara would have been my two biggest supporters, like where they were at everything. Then they got married, we got married, Jarlath and Tara got married. We've been friends for years, and then it happened to Quinn. So like it was a kick in the you-know-what to all of us. So I remember thinking that we would have to look after Quinn, and the fact that Jarlath was Irish, born in Ireland, and that Tara was a Quincy police officer, it was amazing just the way that the community, the Gaelic call them the pipes and drums, every pub and it was just, and there's so many. It's a nightmare what that family went through, but there were so many nice and beautiful things that happened because of it, and he survived it twice. And now, as you know, I was talking to Michael outside. I had talked to Jarlath after Quinn's last scan shortly after Christmas. And I remember Jarlath said we might actually be out of the woods here. And then it happens to Jarlath. And just an amazingly strong family and very, very good people. Jarlath is one of the strongest guys mentally and physically that I've ever met in my life, and it's just a nightmare for them. And Tara, the mother that wants to help everybody else that's dealing with her own stuff, and Maggie, the sister. Like Maggie has in her short life, all she's known is cancer. Her wee brother has it. Now her dad has it. But Jarlath is a very, very, very positive guy, a very strong guy, and he is going to fight this to as long as he can. I
can't even imagine the strength that a family has to have to be able to get through what they've gone through with Quinn. And then
she will say as well, she's they're very religious people, a lot more religious than I would be. I would think if it was me, I would be questioning stuff, and me and her laugh about that. But they have unbelievable faith, and you probably know there's a nun in Quincy called Mother Olga who has been I'm not a big. I think I believe in God and not so much into the whole organised religion thing. But I know if you're in a room with Mother Olga or you're in her presence, there's something unreally special about that. Very special about that woman. And anytime I'm having a bad day, there's a picture on my phone of Jarlath, and he's holding Quinn. When Quinn was a kid, to get this X-ray or something, and every time I look at it, I think that's the strongest man I've ever seen in my life. You know what I mean? So. But the community's come together, like, and it's just, again, I could tell 1,000 stories of really, really nice, happy things that have happened. But at the end of the day, Jarlath has cancer, and Quinn could go into remission at any stage. So, but I think you just have to be positive all the time.
Yeah.
But it's definitely an aspect that no matter what happens, the community keeps answering the call,
Unreal.
stepping up.
Yeah,
100%
I just
support.
remember. I mean, my business office is in Weymouth. I went to high school like in Weymouth, so I'm really involved in the community there. And I just remember, everything like their little house on East Street, and just it
Quinn.
yeah, and just the, like you said, Shaun, the call and how everybody showed up, and it's a very hard story, but like you said, there's a lot of uplifting moments when you think about the
We
response.
almost, and I shouldn't say we, it was Tara and Jarlath, but we were all trying to help out. It was like they almost needed a booking agency, because like there might be 3 people would be offering to walk dogs by the house at 4 a.m. and then, or not 4 p.m. and then maybe a fleet of Irish dancers would show up, and like poor Tara's like, I have to go shop, but and then like the best one was when the SWAT team showed up. They were doing a training exercise, and all the neighbours like panicked because they thought something was going on. But there was just some such great stories, and again, like I would announce something on Facebook that I was doing something, and like the money would just start coming in. And
Sure.
like I have a mate, Brendan Lombard, and he's from Cork, Clonakilty, and he was laughing about that. He said Declan could read at 8 a.m. in the morning that there was a giraffe with a sore neck in the Serengeti, and he said by lunchtime he'd have 20,000 raised for the giraffe. But that was just the way, and it's still the way. It's just people want to help.
Yeah, and now after all the events and everything that's been done for Quinn, now we have something for Jarlath going on.
Yes, well, I know your first guest, I believe, was Pat McDonough.
Yeah.
Pat's a great guy, but a couple of years ago, we never want to have too many events that are the same. So we have the booze cruise, we have Christmas parties. But I was having a conversation with Pat, and I just mentioned about a golf tournament, and Pat just did it unreal, took it on himself. Very, very organised guy. So last year, I think it raised about 50,000 for Tommy's Place. And just in case any of your listeners don't know, Tommy's Place is 2 houses on Cape Cod that if you have a child with cancer, you can stay there free of charge for the whole week. And it's just, you can bring down, there's like 8 bedrooms, and the one in Falmouth, I've stayed in that with Quinn, but not sure about the other one, but I think the other one is the same as well. But so we that money went to Tommy's Place from last year. But then when this happened to Jarlath this year, Tim O'Connell, that runs and owns Tommy's Place, said that he wanted the money to go to Jarlath this time. So, but a lot of the people had paid for their golf, so I think it ended up like 25,000 went to Tommy's Place, and I think then the rest went to Jarlath.
That's fantastic.
That was from that one, and then on where am I? Yeah, on Saturday, July 26th at the IBEW Hall in Dorchester. There, I think it is 2 to 6 or 2 to 7. We're having a. I shouldn't say we're having it because I can't be there because I'm playing at a wedding the same day, but I'm helping organise it. But if you look up online, if you look on Mighty Quinn's Facebook page, but it's definitely July 26th at the IBEW Hall, the Union Hall in Dorchester. And if anybody wants to help, we'd love to see you there. We're going to have tons of raffle prizes, but if anybody would like to donate a raffle prize, if they can email friendsofthemightydad@gmail.com and just give us a rough description of what you want to donate, and then we'll come and pick it up and we'll go from there again.
Yep. The raffle prizes are important. I mean, we run our events with the AOH,
Yes.
and we make okay on getting people in the door.
Yes.
But the raffle donations, those really are what puts it over the edge.
Yes, and we're lucky. Like it's like Red Sox, it's Bruins tickets. Like people are given, maybe people that might have holiday homes in New Hampshire or the Cape are given stuff. So I always say our community, like they're going to give you money. You just have to give them an opportunity to give you. Like the people just want to give
Sure.
money to charity. So it's our job to let them have a way of giving the money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Yeah.
And like I think anybody, like I know me, if I go to a charity, I might say I'm going to spend $300 at this. I don't care what it's on. I'm just gonna. And I think most people are like that. But you just have to give them an opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
And getting back to Sarah at Cara Group, like over the years between Tommy's place and the mighty Quinn, like that lady has given away. I know on the trips that we do to Ireland, next year we're bringing 2 buses, and 4 of the people on them buses are going for free because they won tickets that Sarah raffled off. So, and she never wants anybody to know about this stuff. So sorry, Sarah. But it just, again, just the community. It's like the Bruins have got involved. The Gilly pipes and drums. Oran McGonigal. Oran's been, everybody's been great, but from a person from in our community, a younger guy that came here and just worked his way up, Oran has been amazing. Like Booze Cruise t-shirts. Just tells me how many to order, how many do you need? Tell this guy. And I never get a bill for anything, for the printing or anything like that there. And again, another guy that never wants any like the Booze Crew or the golf tournament, he sponsors all the shirts and all that.
Oh, wow.
So, but there's like, and again, I know I pointed out Sarah and Oran, but there's like 50 people in our community that do the same kind of stuff.
Sure. Yeah, you were showing me the photo of the little house that was custom little playhouse that was built for a raffle prize.
Yep. And then the
golf course.
Yeah, and then the guy that won it donated it to a wee girl called Sonny who stayed in Tommy's place, and now that house is delivered to them. Like last year we had a somebody. And again, this is not about me, but somebody had 2 Red Sox tickets, and they wanted to give them to a family with charity. So a family with cancer. So I contacted Lucy's Love Bus, and it was actually a little boy from the North Shore, but his sister had cancer, but she was too sick to go. But when you have a kid with cancer, you have to look out for the other kid, especially if there's 2 of them, because there's a lot of mum and dad might be in the hospital all the time, and a lot of these kids develop stuff that'll hurt them later on in life because maybe they're not getting the same attention.
Sure. So
we sent her brother to the Red Sox, and it happened to be First Responders Day. Oh. So I sent out a message to guys that I knew, and like the father was saying all day long, firefighters were coming by. I told him what seat he was on, giving him patches. The Red Sox gave him a bag, like, and he left the stadium with a Fenway with a ton of stuff in him. But it just so you can take, even for one day. And that's why Tommy's place is so special. Like, you go down there for 1 week. Just for 1 week, you can get away from all the you never get away from it, but it just gives you a breather.
Yeah. And that's got to be just as important for everybody else in the family. I mean, like we said, the strength of, like you, I can't even wrap my head around. I don't think that with one of my children.
No, it's just horrible. And the place down there as well, like the money that Devri raise, like I always ask that. Sometimes Tim will say, "What do you want this money spent on?" So I'll say, like, I would like you to buy gift cards in all the local restaurants. So there's always a ton of gift cards on the counter, so they can walk up the town and buy and get a free meal. So that's the small little thing that we do. But like the house is amazing. The Bruins, I think I was telling you outside, Michael, the Bruins, there's a sponsor room. It's all done up in Bruins, and the Bruins wives go down there a couple of weeks before Christmas and decorate the place. And myself and Jarlath, the first night I walked into it, we had a little guy that was supposed to stay to be the first person in there. he didn't make it. So Quinn became the first kid to stay in the first Tommy's place. But of course, myself and Jarlath went up to Lee Maguire's for a couple of pints, and we came back down again. And there was a fridge, but it sunk. One of those sunken fridges in the wall, so the door.
Okay.
So Jarlath says, "Grab yourself something out of the fridge." And I opened the fridge, and the fridge was steps down to a speakeasy, and there's a bar. There's a bar down there. So it gives the parents a break as well, and everybody a break. So just a great place.
That's fantastic. Speaking of Tommy's Place, then we also have the annual booze cruise that goes out, and that's just next month.
It's coming up on August 9th, and usually I would reach out to the community and I'll ask people to sponsor the shirt, and it's, again, you might make 20,000 out of the sponsorship alone, but this year I'm not asking anybody for sponsors. I'm asking them to support Jarlath's event instead, and we will have a raffle on board the booze cruise on the day. The Bruins have given me stuff. Pat Nee is bringing out a couple of bands from Ireland, and he's giving me tickets for that. So whatever money we raise on the day, because my wife will tell me that when I get 7 or 8 pints, I'll agree to anything. I've had my head shaved 3 times. I've done a parachute jump, and I've done 4 polar plunges. And Jarlath asked me last year to run the Falmouth Road race with him this year, and I agreed to it. So myself, Jarlath, my daughter, and Maggie were due to run the Falmouth Road race. Not sure if Jarlath is going to do it. He still intends to do it, and I say it wouldn't surprise me if he won it, because he's such a strong guy. But we're using the money that we raise on the booze cruise for Team Maggie sponsorship. So myself, Maggie, my wife, my daughter Abby was supposed to run it. She's got a torn meniscus, so I think my wife's going to run it. They're going to run it, and I'm going to walk it.
When's the road race?
The road race is the end of August. It's the last Sunday in August, and that's why usually the booze cruise is the last weekend in August. But I was saying there's not a hope in hell that I can go on a booze cruise on Saturday and run the Falmouth Road race.
That may make the road race a bit more enjoyable.
But that's basically but the booze cruise has been like, the first year we had 56 people on it, and now it's we have to cut it off at 500 or 600 people. It's just unreal.
Yeah, I got my tickets early.
Yeah. And it's like everything else. 2 or 3 years after COVID, it sold out in 10 minutes.
Sure.
No, but that's why we're all very conscious about everybody wants to help, but you don't want to go back to the same people all the time.
Yeah.
But again, 90% of people don't care how many times you go back to them when it is something as important as this. Because it's like that saying there, for the grace of God, go the whole lot of us, you know what I mean? So.
And then for anyone listening, we'll include in the show notes any links and email addresses, like you mentioned, to the events. Anyone wants to donate, we'll make sure that's put out there.
Excellent. Yeah. But again, I can't stress, and again, I'm not just saying this because I'm here, but I cannot stress the amount, people say about Declan this and Declan did that, but it's just our community has been unreal. Cara Group, the Gaelic Column, the Irish Village, Oran, the Culture Centre, just anybody, your own guys, it's just, nobody's never said no to me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe somebody can't do something, but nobody's ever said, I'm not going to do it, you know what I mean?
Right.
It was when we had the homes at Donegal, when the flood was in Donegal, we raised about 120,000, but we had a T-shirt and all these businesses' names were on the back of it. And the way we did it, we said, it's not that your name's on the shirt. Imagine if your name's not on the shirt. And I'd be like, oh, here. But Irish mob mentality. But no, but people are so great. And there's unfortunately, there's a million different charities out there, and everyone is equally as important.
Sure.
As others. But I think when there's a kid sick, and when I get involved in this as well, not just the fundraising, realizing the importance of blood donation and platelet donation. And thank God, about 4 years ago, they allowed people from Ireland and France because we had that whole foot and mouth or mad cow disease. We couldn't. So thank God they lifted that. And also, on a political thing, less than 4% we live in the richest nation in the world, and I'm a very proud American, but only 4% of the federal budget that's given to cancer, only 4% of that goes to kids. And like, I know breast cancer is important and every cancer, but the way I look at it, like, I'm 54 now. If something happens to me tomorrow, please God it won't. But I've lived a life. When you see a kid that's sick, it's just not fair. It doesn't make sense.
No.
So I think being Irish, I think we've got that family unit that
you sacrifice for someone. Yeah.
It's the parish mentality as well. You want to make sure that everyone's taken care of.
Yeah. Again, go back to the way we grew up at home. Like if you went to a neighbour's house, you got fed. Like no matter what was going on, like we were part of a community, and I think that's what's so important.
Yeah.
And when you leave home. When you when you travel 3,000 miles, like you want that sort of community. Like,
well, I think our people kind of brought that over with us. I mean, I think about how, I didn't, obviously, I'm a citizen, but I grew up in the city of Boston, but our community was the same way. If everybody was out and about and it came to be dinner time, if you brought someone else with you to the dinner table, my mother didn't think twice about it. There was just another seat.
Yeah.
So.
But apparently that stems from the famine as well. That you had to share your food, and my wife's American, no real Irish connections, mostly Norwegian. But when we bought the house in Braintree. Like, she was born out in Holliston at 495, and she was saying, like, we'd some really nice houses out there. I said, I'm not leaving. I'm not living out there. She's going like, you people come 3,000 miles and then you all want to live on top of each other. Exactly. You got that right.
So switching gears, let's get back and talk music for a bit. And especially, we're right in the middle of the summer. What gigs are coming up? What's going on with Devri? And where can people catch you?
Well, coming up, we're doing a wedding tomorrow in Portsmouth, New Hampshire.
Is that an open invite?
Well, half of the Dooley staff, the Gerd Kerry works in Dooley, so there'll be Black Rose staff and Dooley staff and stuff, everything.
Come up to the after party then. That'll be fine.
And then the following Saturday night, we're in McGonagall's pub in Dorchester. Now that's taken off. It's unreal. You know what I mean?
That's a brilliant spot as well.
Yeah.
I love it. I love all, like, I love Dooley's. I love the college. There'll never be anything like Paddy Barry's. Like, Paddy Barry's was our wee Irish embassy. But McGonagall's, I love going to McGonagall's. I love the food's great there. Great pint of Guinness. So we're there, and then we're at another wedding in the Copley Plaza the following Saturday. We're not really a wedding band as such, but if friends, I would never advertise us to be a wedding band, but if somebody knows us and wants us to play their wedding, we'll play it.
Sure.
And then first weekend in August, we're in the Irish Village, and I believe Brian Yanovich and Tommy and them guys, I think they want to do something for Jarlath down there that weekend as well, raise a couple of pounds.
That new spot they have down there, the best thing ever was them taking over the conference center. It's such a
for the Irish festival, for Pat stuff as well. You're not worried about the tent blowing away or something like that, which did happen. And then on the 3rd, it's the GA finals, and Canton, we're playing in the tent that night. And then the Booze Cruise is the 9th. And then I take a couple of weekends off from music because...
train for the race.
There'll be more training than racing, I think.
I wonder if we can get odds on, online to see... at what leg do we find him on the side of the Falmouth Road throwing up?
on one leg.
Did the road race go past Liam Maguire's?
No, you take a right, but I could take a left. I could take a left very handy. I was very proud, not proud, I hate the word proud, but I ran 7.2 miles last night from my house in Braintree to my eldest girl goes to the Woodward School in Quincy, and I just happened to Google it, and it was 3.6 miles away, so I ran there and ran back, so it wasn't too bad.
Wow.
Not too bad.
That's a lot more than I could do.
But it was a nice Irish evening, rain, and it was lovely. And I don't think the Falmouth Road race in the end of August will be as nice.
Yeah. All I could think about was yesterday was thank God it's not Saturday.
Yeah,
because,
I know.
It was horrible yesterday.
Yeah,
it's like all these Saturdays in a row have been nuts.
I know.
Yeah.
But we're hoping to get back to everything. We're hoping to record again. Like I keep on. People say you should write more songs, and I'm like, when am I going to get a chance to write? And then my wife finally told me, like, just voice record, because I'll come up with some great idea, and I'll have a verse of a song, and then the following day I can't even remember what it was about. So that's it.
So how often do you get back, like just yourself, not like part of a trip or anything like that?
I used to, when I came here for first again, we'll go back maybe twice. As I said, I'm the youngest of 11. Unfortunately, we have one brother died a few years ago, but there's one in Spain, there's a few in England, and then there's either 4 or 5 in Ireland. So I would try to get back. I love Malin. I love Donegal. I always say when I go home, Dublin, I get off the plane, that's great, but I never feel at home until I go into Donegal, and then I never really feel at home until I cross the bridge going into Malin and up to the wee townland that I'm from. And so what I try to do now is, because my wife and kids are Americans, I don't want to be one of those fathers that takes their kids to Ireland every summer. So we're lucky that when Devri do these tours, the girls will come at the end of the tour, and then we'll go up home for a
Oh, nice.
But next year now they want to come on the tour, because Abby's going, I'll almost be 18 and maybe I can have my first drink in Ireland. We actually went to Belfast 4 years ago.
Aye.
And like when we grew up, and when did you come here?
I came here, started coming over in 2000, but moved here in 2006.
Yeah, well, I came here in 2000, which and we would go to Belfast, like to the Ulster Hall, see Gary Moore, like out there, and it was amazing to bring people back to Belfast this time, and just how it's changed.
Different place.
Just great. My wife would tell you that her favourite city in Ireland is Belfast.
Oh, I hear that. I bring groups over from UMass all the time, and we do the rounds. We do Dublin, we do Limerick, we do Cork. We head to Galway, but then once we hit Belfast, it's just it's not what they're expecting.
Yes,
you know, and it's different, but the same as well, and it just throws off. And every time I go home, Belfast is just an unbelievable city. Especially you go during the Festival of Fools and the programs that they run around the city. It's just absolutely unbelievable.
Sarah, when we had Sarah on that time, that's what she was talking about, how that's like her favorite trip to take people over on now is Donegal, going up to Belfast and Derry and everything else. They said
because we were so far behind and the tourist thing because obviously a lot of people didn't want to come up, and that affected Donegal as well. Because to get to Donegal, you'd have to go through the, like, again, I'd be telling Americans, I get off the plane and I'm in the south of Ireland. I go north and I leave the south and I go into the north and I keep going north. And I come out of the north and go back into the south, and they're like, "What?" but like, and in a way, of course, you never want everything that's happened in Northern Ireland. But us in Donegal love that, because we say, like, Donegal's beautiful, but don't tell too many people. Like, we don't want to end up being like a Donegal Peninsula or something like that.
Yeah.
You want to, of course, you want these jobs so young people don't have to leave home if they don't want to. But like, I think, like, when you go up around the west coast of Donegal, you're not. There's not going to be 10 tour buses ahead of you on a road.
Yeah, it's unspoiled.
Yeah. And
they're working hard to keep it that way, to make sure that there's still an influx of tourism, but finding that balance.
Yes.
And then, to your point, it's the job aspect that's being built on. And and again, I'll plug. Obviously, my background's higher education, but the work that's being done on the west coast as a whole. Obviously, I'm biased between the Belfast-Dublin corridor, being from the East Coast.
Yes.
But the work that's being done between University of Limerick, University of Galway, Atlantic Technological University and Ulster University, they've created a platform called the Atlantic Futures Project.
Yes.
And it's just tying they're shifting the focus away from Belfast-Dublin to investment in the West Coast corridor.
Yes.
And the work that's being done there in research, job creation for young people, and the training that goes on is absolutely unbelievable.
I got that at the last Golden Bridges event.
Yep.
The what they were outlining, it's fantastic. What
I like the Golden Bridges for that, because they're tying, like, Derry and Donegal together, which is great. Because, like, when I grew up at home in Malin, Glengad, the area I came from, like, Letterkenny was the biggest town in Donegal. We never went to Letterkenny. You just crossed the border into Derry. The only time you went to Letterkenny is the hospital. Or like that. But so you go into Derry, and, like, there might have been a border there, but it was like home. It was just an extension of home, going to Derry.
Yeah. And the three of us, we all had the honor of meeting the new mayor, Lord Mayor over there, Niamh Kennedy.
Niamh's done a great job there.
She's doing a great job in her role over there. So
and then the work. Just the work that's being done between Derry and Donegal as a whole. Obviously, the mayor of Derry just shifted recently. It was Lillian Sonoy Barr was the mayor there, and she and Niamh had worked wonderful together. They travelled over
Yes.
Yeah.
together at different times.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's the shift, in the new mayorship in Derry, but it's continued on, so it is. It's just that aspect, like you said.
This whole movement forward, like once things start to move, you're not going to stop it.
That's it.
sometimes
Nobody
you-
wants to look backwards. I mean, there's going to be hiccups. Obviously, we're recording this on July 11th. There's a few things going on
Yeah.
in the north right now. So,
Yeah.
but even what's sensationalized in the news, it's not what it was 20, 30 years ago, like the things like Garvahi Road down in County Down.
Young people are too educated and too smart. No, but nobody wants to go back. Nobody wants to go back to that. You can still have your strong position and everything, but like as long as nobody gets hurt,
That's
like,
it. Nobody's.
It's funny. So last week I was talking with the woman who we went over and we walked the National Famine Way from Roscommon down to Dublin, and the woman who came up with the idea and everything, I had her on last week, and we were talking about, and she was talking about how this generation is starting to be more creative with regards to the history and the ideas of the famine. Like there's stories, there's music, there's plays and everything else. And one thing that I said was, I feel like you guys were just saying, this generation that's coming up now, they're not holding the baggage of history.
no.
So they can be a little bit more open, a little bit more creative. And when my mother would go over with my grandmother in the 70s and they'd spend summers there, they wouldn't even dare go north.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're moving away from like that generational trauma aspect.
Yeah, exactly.
And where it's open
Or these
borders.
people weren't even born.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a story to them. And while it's still real and there's still families impacted and there's still the legacy, it's an aspect of the animosity starting to move away, because while there's still tensions in certain areas, even especially in Belfast where I'm from, but there's an aspect of you're living in the same community, you're focused in the same community, and the amount of people who just cross the border, they live in the north, they work in the south, or vice versa.
And you don't even know you cross the border
Exactly,
anymore.
and that's the biggest thing that's gone away. Except when the PSNI set up a speed trap, and all of a sudden you're still doing kilometers.
The only way you know is make sure your car is insured for Northern Ireland. That's the only reason that you're on there. I was just a quick story about the Donegal being that little bit behind in tourism. Not behind, but like it hasn't caught up. We landed in Donegal town 3 years ago. The first Devri tour, we had 3 buses, and everybody's on to me like, "Oh, welcome home here in Donegal." I said, "Where I'm from is about another hour north here." So they all got out of the bus and they were saying, "Where should we go?" And I was saying, like, well, the Abbey Hotel's there and the Donegal Castle's there. And I said, but there's a great pub called McLafferty's. I said, we used to go down to McLafferty's just on the road down to Sligo, leaving Donegal town. But if you go to McLafferty's, there's a wee front bar, much the size of Paddy Barry's, but then there's a massive bars all down behind. So our crew went in, and then they all filtered down the back.
Aye.
But I went down to buy Donegal shirts for my girls, and I was about a half an hour later to get into the pub. So I walked in, and there was an old boy behind the counter, and he was pulling a pint of Guinness. And I said, if you get a chance, can you stick me on a pint of Guinness? So he must have heard my accent and thought I was just some local boy walking in. And he says, I'll not use the exact words he says, give me a couple of minutes. He said there came a crowd of Americans in there. He said, about half an hour ago. He says, about 100 of them. He said, I don't know where the F they come out of. I said, I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm just trying to get a pint of Guinness. He said, about 100 of them. He said,
Oh God, that's funny. Okay. I would say this has been great. We're so glad that you came on, Declan. We're glad that we can, give exposure to what you got going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and again, I'll say it today. It's all about the community here. Like as I said, you guys play a part in this. We all play a part in this, and because not delivering the point there, for the grace of God, go the whole lot of us. You never know when, and like I know we talked only a small bit about Devri, and that's the way I like it now, because I think what we're doing here for kids with cancer is more important than I'm never going to be on MTV, and I don't want to be. I don't want to be some famous guy that's going around. I love being able to play music, but I think this is more important. Like that when you can look after people that, like, we all need to look after each other. I think.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
It is.
That's it. And I think, with regards to our show, be sure to follow the Father John Murphy division on social media and AOH Plymouth on Instagram, Facebook, as well as Devri's Facebook page for information on where they're playing. And, like we said, we'll put any other links on the show notes for everyone who's listening, so they can catch up either where you're playing as well as where they can make donations to and find out how to support the community as a whole.
And one item of order that I want to bring up, and this is something that just came up today. So Saturday, July 19th at 1 p.m. at Campanelli Stadium in Brockton, the Irish Wolfhounds are going to be playing the Jake's baseball team, and it's through the Irish American Baseball Society, which the AOH has a partnership with. So they're going to be playing. It's free admission, 1 o'clock at Campanelli Stadium in Brockton. We'll put links to that as well. We're going to be part of the ceremonial first pitch.
No.
So I have to, warm up my arm. But, that should be good. And like I said, admission is free. As long as the weather's good, it's going to be a great time to bring family out and everything else.
And I'm just going to put a little note in there for anyone listening who decides to go. If you're sitting in the front rows, just bring a hard hat, because Mike's arm, that ball's not making it into the catcher's mitt.
This is not fair. I have to run a whole road race, and he gets to throw a baseball. He can have a beer on the other end.
So, but yeah, definitely. And like Shaun said, we'll put all the links on and everything else. We're actually going to do something different for this week. We're going to go out with a Devri song. We're going to put that in. And Declan was good enough in the very beginnings of the show to send a couple of files. So we're going to go out with a Devri original, Leaving Ireland, which I love that song. So, so if you enjoyed the show, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, share it with a friend. And if you've got a story to tell or a topic you'd love to hear about us talk, reach out by emailing us at craiconthecoast@gmail.com. That's CRAIC on the coast@gmail.com. So until next time, slán go fóill, goodbye for now, and may the Craic be mighty wherever you are.
Go to my yoga.
I left from Clonakilty while the sun was still in red. I left from Enniscorthy, Tralee and Mallinhead. From the narrow streets of Belfast, I got the train to Dublin town. From Donegal and Donegal, Mayo and County Down. From the rocks, Connemara, where lived the Pirate Queen. On the hills of Tipperary, an oft-time sheltered breeze. Now we're standing at the airport, boarding pass in hand. Immigrants unwanted, leaving Ireland. Boston's like an oven in August drenching heat. 22 weeks later, the snow is 4 foot deep, and the rain just makes me homesick as it sobers up me head. And I think of friends and family and loved ones long since dead. Saturday night in Dooley, Craic is 98. The Guinness had the Magners, it helps me to forget. And we do a shot of whiskey, and don't forget the band, as we sing the songs of Poland and toast old Ireland. They pile up quickly to 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, but you never lose the longing for seeing home again. While our kids don't have our accents, they dance our jigs and reels. America is in their toes, Ireland's in their heels, and they sing our songs of freedom, of peace and liberty, of days of old and stories told of the land across the sea. Though American first and foremost, I'm proud of this great land. They will always be made welcome in their dear old motherland. I'm I'm a mason, I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor, I'm a nurse, a waitress, I'm a nanny, I'm a bollocks, I'm a curse, a Sunday morning front seat, a Monday morning thief, a picture in Paddy Barry, a Union Labour chief, and I'm a heart that beats with so much pride, and a tear that fills my eye, when in March I stand on Broadway and watch the parade pass by, and I'm a piper in the police force, Boston's finest band, and when the pipes and drums play the minstrel boy, I miss old Ireland.